Howdy, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the video for Elden Ring. My name is Ventus, and in this video, I'm going to showcase my picks for my top 5 favorite weapons in the game. Most, if not all of these weapons, I have videos for how to get them, so if you see something on this list that you like, head on over to my channel and browse my playlist. I'm sure you will come across how to get it or something else that you might think is absolutely insane. Now, before I get into it, please sub to the channel if you're new here and like the video. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, jumping right into it at number 5, it's the Sword of Night and Flame. This weapon used to be number 1 on my list hands down because it literally carried me through the first 20 or so hours of the game until it got nerfed. Now, the nerf wasn't bad because even after the nerf, I was still using it and getting carried through a lot of boss fights. What's cool about this sword is that in addition to doing magic damage with each slash, it has 2 magic attacks. One that shoots out like a mini Night Comet sorcery spell that's like a laser, and the other magic attack is like a wave of fire that deals a crap ton of damage to anything that's weak to fire. No matter what situation I found myself in with this sword, it had a solution. The nerf took back some of the damage from both attacks, more so on the Night Comet, but if you have a high enough intelligence, you might not be able to tell any significant difference from the damage. For me, the sword is still really awesome to use, and I'm glad they put it in the game. If you have not gotten the sword yet, you can check out one of my early videos for how to get it. At number 4, it's the Regalia of Eochaid. This sword is one of the coolest weapons in the game for its ability called Dancing Blade. The same ability is attached to the Mariah's Executioner Greatsword, making both of these weapons favorites of mine. Dancing Blade allows you to throw the weapon out in front of you as if with telekinesis, and it spins, dealing damage to whatever target you're locked onto. The longer you hold the charge, the further and longer the spin goes. In most cases, the target that is hit is locked in a hit stun until the spin is over and is sometimes knocked down, so you can literally keep doing this attack on them over and over until they're dead without taking any damage. Now, this doesn't work on boss enemies, of course, but it sure does deal them some serious damage. Now, this weapon would have a much higher rank on my list because I'm actually in love with this weapon, especially the Greatsword, the Executioner, but I missed my opportunity to get the Magic Scorpion Charm, which enhances your magic damage. My intelligence is not the highest in the game, so I can't use the weapon as well as I could, but still, visually one of the coolest, most anime looking swords in the game. I actually don't have a video on how to get either the Regalia of Eochaid or the Mariah's Executioner, but one is coming for the Executioner. But if you want to get the Regalia, visit the jail cave, and then to get the Executioner, complete the boss fight at the Shaded Castle. So for the Regalia, visit the jail cave in Caelid, and then the Executioner, you got to complete this boss fight that's in the Shaded Castle over in Mount Gelmir. At number 3 on this list, I have the Magma Blade. I recently have a video on how to get this weapon, and since I got it, it's literally on my very short list of go-to weapons when something in the game I'm fighting is a little bit too difficult to deal with my normal setup. I have 2 of these swords, so I can dual wield them, which if you decide to get this sword, I highly suggest you do the same. They deal fire damage with each slash, and most times gives your target a hit stun with a burning animation when you attack them. Dual wield attacking doubles this. Their special ability is Magma Shower, a skill that spins you forward and splashes out hot magma that stays on the ground for a few moments to deal continued damage to targets that steps on it. You can activate Magma Shower twice in a row, doing a little dance at the same time while slashing with the weapon, dealing burn damage with the weapon while leaving magma on the ground. When I first saw this weapon and used it on a few fights, I thought to myself that they put this weapon in the game to really help us out on tougher enemies. And what's really cool about this is that there are talismans in the game like the Fire Scorpion Charm to enhance fire damage on a weapon that is already insanely crazy good. At number 2 on this list, it has to be the Rivers of Blood Katana. I mean, what else can I say about this weapon? It's so overused by literally everyone that plays Elden Ring that I almost hate that it's my second favorite weapon in the game, but it combines a lot of things that I can't help but enjoy. First, it's a freaking katana, and I love katanas. Second, it absolutely abuses one of the strongest mechanics in the game, blood loss buildup for insane bleed builds. They give us more items and equipment in the game that makes bleed builds OP more than like anything else. So the weapon is literally good against just about everything in the game. The ability it comes with, Corpse Piler, is just a glorified double slash, but damn if that attack doesn't carry through almost anything in the game. The Rivers of Blood is actually what replaced the Sword of Night and Flame for me as my normal weapon when just playing through the game normally, and I couldn't imagine playing the game now with all that I know about the game without having the Rivers of Blood Katana. Now, what weapon in the game do I think is better than all of these completely overpowered swords? I was really shocked by my answer because I only like swords in games like these and usually ignore anything else unless I'm making a video about it or if the weapon is just completely too broken to ignore. And that's the case with the Bolt of Grand Sax. The Bolt of Grand Sax is probably the best weapon in the game overall in my opinion. I know a lot of people will vehemently disagree, and I get it. I know something like the Moonveil Katana, some might say is better, especially for PvP, or the Dark Moon Greatsword with its special ability of Moonlight Greatsword. Hell, even the Blasphemous Blade because of its health regeneration passive and the Taker's Flame attack. I think that everyone is different and look for different things in games to make them fun. And for me, even though I absolutely hate spears, hate using spears, hate everything about spears, the Bolt of Grand Sax is literally the perfect weapon. I can't help it. It's just a perfect weapon for me. I'm a fan of lightning attacks in video games. Loved lightning attacks in video games since the original Final Fantasy VII way back in like 1996. My love of lightning attacks grew when I read through, no lie, 12 books of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. If you ever read books, you like fantasy books, check out the Wheel of Time. They glorify lightning attacks in that. It's just amazing. Something about calling down a bolt of lightning to strike your target just, for whatever reason, seems super powerful to me. This game doesn't diminish that love of lightning for me one bit. The Bolt of Grand Sax literally becomes a bolt of lightning in your hand and pretty much slays anything it touches. Now, in terms of the game, I like the weapon because it has a good reach for its normals and even shocks targets it hits with crackles of red lightning for like a cool visual effect. Now, the range on the special attack Ancient Lightning Spear is absolutely insane. You can literally attack enemies before you get into their awareness bubble and most times kill them before they can even get close enough to attack you. For me, this game is broken up into two parts: exploration and boss fights. You will spend way more time in exploration than you will in boss fights. And when you explore new areas, it is good. It is like super good to have an incredible weapon at the ready to defend you when you meet some new creature and you have zero idea their attack patterns. Ancient Lightning Spear locks on like a homing missile and like 80% of the time eliminates a need to learn any new attack patterns of random field monsters because all you need to do is get some distance and attack. In some cases, you don't even need distance, you just need enough time to go through the animation of the Lightning Spear. Now, the FP cost of the Lightning Spear sucks, the casting time could be shorter, but those things balance the weapon. And again, I'm shocked that this is my favorite weapon because I 100% thought the answer was going to be the Rivers of Blood Katana. But once I gave it a solid few hours of contemplation, thinking about what I like more, what does more for me in terms of completing the game, beating bosses, sub-bosses, just everything combined, a melee weapon with a solid, powerful ranged attack that does what it's supposed to do without fail every single time, it has to be the Bolt of Grand Sax. It perfectly complements my playstyle, and I think that ultimately decides what your favorite weapon in the game is, something that suits your playstyle and makes the game fun for you even after hours of screaming at the screen. Listen, if you know me, you've been with me any amount of time on these streams, you know how passionate I get about these dumbass boss fights. Now, what are your I tell you what, that fight with Melania, oh my gosh. All right, anyways, what are your top favorite weapons in the game and why? What is one weapon that perfectly suits your playstyle in Elden Ring that makes it worth turning on every day just so that you can be your character? You know, and let me talk about that for a bit. it's been a long time since I've had a game where I literally turn it on just so I can be my character, not just to beat the game or make YouTube videos or whatever the case may be, but I just want to be my character. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake was like the last game that came out that made me want to just turn the game on so I can be Cloud. This game, it looks so good, just everything about it, it just makes me want to be this character, and this weapon, the bolt of Grand Sax, just everything just makes me want to be the weapon. Now, I can't wait to hear, not the weapon makes you want to be the character. Now, I can't wait to hear your responses and get your points of view on what your favorite weapons are. Now, if you don't have the bolt of Grand Sax and want it now that I've shown it to you and why I like it, you can check out my video for how to get it. For more information on Elden Ring, like quick and to the point guides for a lot of things, head on over to my channel and browse my playlist. While you're there, turn on my notifications so you don't miss an upload. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Peace out.